The forest-clad mountain of Mihintale, rising over 300 meters above sea level and about 11 kilometers from Anuradhapura, is also significant in the Buddhist annals of the country. It was on this summit that Mahinda, son of Emperor Asoka of India, stopped the then ruling King Devanampiyatissa of Anuradhapura, who was on a hunting mission, to introduce the philosophy of Buddhism to Sri Lanka. Mihintale became one of the greatest monastic cities of that time, with regulations established to preserve its forests and wildlife, a diktat which continues to this day, swathing the environs with a sense of seclusion and tranquility to the thousands of fervid pilgrims who climb the 1,840 granite steps to pay homage. Polonnaruwa, the second capital of Sri Lanka, has a comparatively brief and less complex history than Anuradhapura, having simply taken on the mantle of ruling after the destruction of Anuradhapura in 993 by the Cholas. But it is in Polonnaruwa that Buddhism continued to flourish, with most of the colossal dagobas preserved even today, extracting wonderment among visitors due to their sheer size and architectural accomplishments. It is also in Polonnaruwa that some of the world's greatest irrigation systems were built, developed and retained to be used even today. Of this, the great Sea of Parakrama, part of the fabulous garden city created by King Parakrama Bahu in the 12th century, is a mammoth irrigational feat, covering 5,600 acres of water, incorporating 5 minor lakes and built by 1,000 men over 12 years. The lifeblood of the ancient city at the time, the Parakrama Samudra continues to be so today as well. The centerpiece of this medieval city is the quadrangle, or the Dalada Malua, comprising 12 magnificent buildings standing on a platform. The oldest monument in Polonnaruwa, its centerpiece comprises the circular Vatadage with its floridly decorated stonework, a pair of stone guard stones and the moonstone on the second flight leading to the 4 Buddha statues who back what remains of a dagoba. Then there's the glorious granite wonder of the Galvihara, with its 4 mid-12th century carvings of Lord Buddha cut from a single granite wall, ranked among true masterpieces of Sri Lankan art. Even today, it's a stupendous sight. A massive red monolith rising 600 feet from green scrub jungle, Sigiriya, or the Lion Rock, although a kingdom for only 18 years in the late 5th century, is one of the loveliest cities ever known. The fugitive, albeit flamboyant King Kassapa, who was also guilty of patricide, transformed this rock, entered into through the jaws of a lion, into an art aficionado's dream. Seductive, bare-breasted beauties, known as the Sigiriya maidens, painted in tempera, in brilliant colors, denote evidence of about 500 such damsels, although only about 18 remain today. And journey on through the Lion Terrace and onto the summit, where an absolutely marvelous vista of the entire area is a picturesque backdrop to the vestiges of extraordinary architecture. 3 acres of buildings, running water, the colonnaded royal summer house, bathing pools cut out of living rock, and a canopied throne complete with council hall all speak of astonishing genius. Down below, the perfectly symmetrical water gardens still function. Possibly the most impressive of all cave temples in Sri Lanka, Dambulla, a cave monastery which has a history dating back to the 1st century BC, comprises 5 sanctuaries and the largest and best preserved cave temple complex. All the caves have hand-painted murals, statues, and even one sporting a life-size effigy of the last Kandyan king. But it is in the largest cave that leaves visitors in awe. The fully illustrated ceiling follows the natural folds of the rock so closely that it resembles painting on fabric. But just move away from ancient history and Dambulla has taken on a new passion: hot air ballooning, taking the visitor into the skies to indulge in an aerial panorama of the diverse hues of Sri Lanka. Flights are generally in the morning, gliding over the countryside terrain with the beautiful rice farms, giving dramatic viewpoints and great photo opportunities. Many ancient sites of historical and religious significance dot the island, evidencing that Sri Lanka has been a country of influence and prestige. The Buddha statues of Buduruvagala, the sacred area of Maligavila, and the wooden carvings in the Drummers Hall at Mbekke have all turned a spotlight on Sri Lanka's ancient heritage and contribution to world history, recognized and supported as UNESCO World Heritage Sites and preserved under the Cultural Triangle program. The axis of Sri Lanka's Tamil and Hindu culture, the Jaffna Peninsula, enjoys a completely different flavor to that of the rest of the country and verifies the true multicultural facets of Sri Lanka. Believed to have been founded by a wandering minstrel playing his lyre or yal, which is today the symbol of Jaffna and the city called Yalpanam or City of Lyre, the peninsula resembles a land where time stands still, with a fascinating melting pot of cuisine, rituals and traditions, largely unaltered by Western influence. The capital of an independent medieval kingdom and later a key colonial hold for both the Portuguese and the Dutch, the dry land is interspersed with shallow lagoons, palmyra trees, agricultural prowess that for long have kept the people of this peninsula nourished, unique architecture, and a people whose lives are simple and less complex, governed by religion and education. The Nallur temple, which has undergone its share of travails, has regained its majestic grandeur and prepares for its annual festival in July and August with a carnival-like atmosphere, donning its most colorful garb with flower-festooned chariots, beating drums and ecstatic devotees thronging the temple. On the east coast, which stretches some 200 miles, lies Trincomalee, renowned in legend and history for its harbour, considered one of the best sheltered on earth and is the world's 5th largest natural harbour. It is also believed that Mahinda, the bearer of Buddhism to Sri Lanka, may have landed at this port on its way to Mihintale to convert the Anuradhapura kingdom to Buddhism. Even recorded in the Mahavansa are Gokana. Trinco, as it's better known, has been referred to in Sanskrit and Pali, which are ancient scripts, as Korna and Goma, in Tamil as Kornamalai or Tirukornamalai, the hill with 3 sacred temples. But into this equation of history, stir in the fine golden sandy beaches, stretching from Arugambe in the east and upwards, culminating in Nilavali. And the east coast of Sri Lanka holds the distinction of having some of the best beaches in the world. It's a surfer's paradise and a marine enthusiast's heaven. Come, take a dip, a wave or a dive. Just 10 minutes from the main international airport, Sri Lanka's west coast, stretching some 100 miles, is home to the coastal town of Negombo, a fishing port with a quaint and stimulating atmosphere. Visitors can treat themselves to fresh seafood and watch fishermen going about their day-to-day business, mending nets or tramping beaches in wide-brimmed hats. The heavily Roman Catholic influence is much in evidence as pastel-covered churches line the highway with statues of various saints dotting the start of nearly every road in the town. The little-used old Dutch canal routes towards the Negombo Lagoon, and it is believed the inhabitants of Negombo heralded from 1,000 years ago. Descendants of a North Indian warrior caste who embraced Catholicism during Portuguese colonization. The architecture is fascinating, with 17th century churches and forts seated side by side with a potpourri of hotels, resorts, restaurants and guest houses jostling each other for space on the wide, beautiful sandy beaches in this once important spice port. The hospitality industry in Negombo, meanwhile, has made its mark, with some of the resorts being named among the small luxury hotels of the world.